I grew up the son of a Army veteran, and on every base we lived on, there was this community pool. And I remember like it was yesterday when I was small, there was this admiration of those who could go to the high dive of the pool and jump off. And so my early childhood, I can remember vividly thinking about what it would feel like to be one of those people, one of those kids, one of those big kids who could jump off the high dive. And so it became, in my head at least, it became a line of demarcation, if you will, between being a little kid and being a big kid. And I remember one summer, I was 11 or 12 maybe. And I remember telling myself, I'm going to go up that high dive to this summer and jump off. And I remember telling my friends about it. I'm going to go up there. And none of us had done it yet. And for me, it was going to be this moment of just courage, this moment of admiration from my friends, this moment of pride in myself that I had done that. So for weeks in that summer, I talked about it. For weeks in that summer, I looked up at how high that board seemed. And I thought about what it would feel like to jump off. The fear, the anxiety, but also the pride and the joy of having accomplished what seemed like a huge vision, a huge goal. Again, 10, 11-year-old kid from down here, it seems so high. It seems so far up there. And so finally I did it. I got the nerve to approach the ladder to go up to the high dive. And it was a long walk, right? Because I'm sitting there with my towel on the side, and my boys and my friends are there. And I finally get up and I walk, my feet touching the hot pavement, the hot cement, and I walk toward the ladder. And I remember grabbing the ladder, starting my way up the ladder, and then making the mistake that I can hear you guys saying right now in your head or even out loud. I made the mistake of looking back. And the higher I got, the further from the ground I was, the more fearful I got. And so that first time I turned around and went back down the ladder. Embarrassed, right? Ashamed. My friends probably laughed at me. Um, and I just remember feeling like kind of like an idiot for saying I was going to do it and then chickening out and then backing out. So that whole summer, I didn't try again. And my friends, some of them actually did it. So the next summer, I tried again, thought about it again, had the courage in my head to try it again. So I went up the ladder and looked back, went up the ladder a little bit more this time and chickened out. After about 2 or 3 summers of that, guys, I finally got to the very top of the ladder. I finally conquered the part that I thought was holding me back, right? The part of looking back and seeing how far down it was that created in me an anxiety and a fear that brought me back down the ladder. I had overcome that. And now, after 2 summers or 3 summers, I was on the on the runway, on the diving board above, right? Steps from greatness, right? Steps from joy, steps from admiration. So I walk my way out to the ladder and then do the same thing, the same mistake of looking down and realizing, oh my gosh, that is a long way down to the water. Now, what the bet, if you will, the challenge to myself, if you will, was not that I would dive like an Olympic diver into the pool. It was just to go up there and jump off. So the dive would have been terrifying, but the jump in itself is seen from down here was easier. So I get to the edge of the diving board and I realize how hard that last step is. Right? After all the fear, after all the walking on the ladder, after all those steps and all those climbs, and all those steps up the ladder, all those steps from the ladder to the end of the board, all those steps, I had one more to go. One more small step to greatness. And so in that story, guys, is a lesson for all of us. And I'm thinking now about my current journey, right, to greatness as your coach, as your motivator, as your greatness instructor and a speaker. And I've spent a long time working on this. I've spent a long time overcoming fear and doubt and frustration. And in many ways, my career as a greatness coach, as a workshop facilitator, as a leadership coach, in many ways, I'm at the precipice of greatness, at the precipice of what I dreamed about. And yet that one step seems so big, seems so scary. I always say that everybody wants to be the starting quarterback until it's time to go in the game. Right? Everybody wants to get married until it's time to say I do. Everybody wants the corner office until it's time to be the CEO of the company. Right? Everybody wants to be a parent until they take their baby home from the hospital and all that fear and anxiety hits you. And so that last step, even though you've dreamed about it, even though you've looked upon it with admiration and anticipation, when you finally get there, oftentimes, you want to tuck tail and run because it can be overwhelming. Right? So I want you guys to understand this. I want you to take away from this video 3 lessons about your journey that we all go through. And when you're in the journey, whatever part you're in, I want you to understand that this is a journey you will complete. You will finish. Okay, number one, the vision, your goal always looks big from down here. Right? That ladder looks so high, so big from down here as a 10-year-old. Right? Your vision of becoming a millionaire, your vision of having a big home, your vision of losing 50 pounds, your vision of becoming a starter on your football team or soccer team or getting a scholarship, that vision from down here seems so big. But just walk toward it. Just commit to it. Just have the courage to go after it. That's step 1. Now, part 2 of this is that journey will not be linear. Just like I didn't attempt to go up the ladder and then go up without any coming back, without any deviation from my plan. Your plan to be great will be the same. It will not be without some tumult, right? Some downs, some frustration, some failures, some discouragement, right? It will be like this. That's inevitable, right? Just keep at it, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep wanting to be on top of the ladder, getting ready to jump into greatness. Right, so part 1 is that vision, that dream seems so big from down here. Part 2 is it won't be linear. Accept it, honor it, enjoy it. Right, and then number 3, right, you are going to get to a point when it's time to go, when it's time to jump, when it's time to trust that the hard work is behind you. The scary part is in front of you still, but the hard work is behind you. And so understand, trust, believe that next step, that final step, although the hardest, will bring you so much joy and so much pride that it makes it worth it. All right, guys. So your journey is coming to you. Your journey will be fulfilled. Right? Just keep walking. Keep having the courage to look at it and understand it's big. To climb that ladder, no matter how scary it is or how often you have to come down and go back up, and then go to the very edge of that ladder, the very edge of that diving board of your dream. And do me a favor, close your eyes, trust that you've done what you need to do, and then jump into greatness. All right, guys, I love you. Have a good day.